I'd like to start this speech with two quotes. The first is, in a world of lockers, the man with key is king. This is spoken by a fictional character, Jim Moriarty, from the show Sherlock. This quote rings true, especially in our age today, because we live in what is known as the information age, wherein people with information can do whatever they like because they have the power to do so. People who know more have more power, whether that be in terms of academics or simply in terms of knowing what to do in a certain situation. This leads to my second quote by a real person, a person named Sir Francis Bacon, who had the quote, "Knowledge is power." Like I said, if you know something, if you have the key, which is knowledge, you can unlock many things in your life. Because of this fact in our world today, a new subset of people were born. These people were called hackers. Now, there are lots of definitions for hackers. The most common is the one that you see in Hollywood movies or fiction movies who break into things, who use computers. But I don't like that definition because it often gives a bad rep to hackers. I like the definition of hackers being like engineers, in that they solve problems, which is basically the job description of an engineer. They're like engineers, but cooler. They solve, like I said, they solve problems. If that can be, usually that does relate to things like computer and information technologies, because that is the technology of the information age. If you go to computers, you have information. If you have information, you have power. Now, as with any sort of new technology, there are people who use it for good and there are people who use it for bad. The people who use it for good are called white hat hackers. These people are the quote-unquote good guys. They use their knowledge to improve the IT field. They test systems for errors or mistakes, predict them to make it run in ways that is not intended to run. And perhaps most importantly, they defend against the bad guys. They make sure your systems are safe and protected, and that the information that can give people so much power is put in the right hands and not used for malicious purposes. The flip side of these people are the black hat hackers, the quote-unquote bad guys. They use their knowledge for malicious purposes, for their own personal gain. Maybe they want money from it. Maybe they want to steal your data and sell it illegally to people, or maybe they just think it's funny to break into your things. Generally, they're just really, really mean. You should, if you know someone who's a black hat hacker, or someone who will become a black hat hacker, they will have personality traits as overconfidence, narcissism, the belief that they are better than everyone else. Lots of them aren't actually that good at hacking. They, like you see in this meme, they have their Facebook login. I'm going to steal their password and screw with them. I'm going to humiliate them publicly. These people, so long as you're careful, you don't really have to worry about. Unfortunately, there are lots of actual smart black hat hackers that no one can do it and will go to any lengths to do what they want so that they have money or they have fun. Now, there are many ways one could steal yourself, but there are two methods that they use that can affect literally anyone. Now, let's say you're in your local Starbucks or any coffee shop. You're sipping your coffee, having a good time. Maybe you're reading your book or using your laptop or on Facebook, and you're using their free Wi-Fi. Now, the problem with this is that lots of the times, this free Wi-Fi can be accessible by anyone. Sometimes they'll ask for a password, sometimes you have to pay, but many times it is very easy to get to this, to access this free Wi-Fi. The problem with this is When you have access to the network, you have access to the users. Now, a man-in-the-middle attack is when hackers pretend to be a server, but actually aren't. Now, through this, your data passes through the hacker and back to the internet and then to you. If you look to your perspective, it looks like you're just browsing Facebook like normally, or you're looking at your banking details normally, or you're doing whatever you usually do normally. But your data is being siphoned through the hacker, and they can steal all the things that you have. If you're on Facebook, they can hijack your Facebook. You're on Twitter, they can hijack your Twitter. You're on your bank, you're doing your bills, they can take that and use it for their own gain. They don't even need to know your password. It's not like in Hollywood where they crack your password and then access is granted. No, they don't even need your password. All they need is access to the free Wi-Fi that you have. Another way, you guys are probably more familiar with this way, is through when you download things you're not supposed to download, or you go to websites you're not supposed to go, sometimes viruses can be uploaded. Wait, that's the wrong virus. Still, that's not the virus. Okay, wait. That virus, a computer virus, is malicious data. I don't know who messed with this. Someone messed with this. This is not here. Anyway, a virus, a computer virus, is malicious code put into your system that does things that you wouldn't necessarily want to happen to your machine. For example, let's say you're going on to Metroshare.io and you're watching a free movie that was just released that you don't want to bother paying for or go to the cinema to watch. If you go to the website, if you're not careful, a virus can be uploaded into your system and it can steal your data, it can steal your passwords, it can do lots of things. It can take your passwords, it can steal private info, your details, anything privately stored on your computer. It can hijack sessions. If you have Facebook logged on, if you have email logged on, if you have something as dangerous as banking details, if you're doing your bills online logged on, it can be taken. Now, are you screwed? Is there no way to defend from this act? Yes. No, there's nothing you can do. If you don't defend yourself. There are many ways to defend yourself. You can set up a virtual private network. You can search this online. It's very easy. It takes a maximum of 5 minutes. And the man-in-the-middle attack I showed you all, they won't be able to do this if you simply take 5 minutes to search on how to set up a VPN. This is because it will encrypt your data, so even if they steal, even if your data is siphoned through your hacker, they won't be able to read it. It will be a bunch of gibberish. Another way you can defend yourself is to make sure your antivirus is updated. Now, a problem with lots of computers is that when the antivirus asks for an update, they go, it's fine, I'm not going to get attacked. I don't need to update because I have to stop my downloads and take a while, it's still not my computer. So lots of the time, people don't bother. But it's really important because antivirus prevents your data protection. Wouldn't you rather you take 20 minutes max to update your antivirus than to spend days trying to recover your valuable data? Now, another thing is using common sense and don't view important stuff on untrusted networks. If you're in Starbucks or in McDonald's, don't do your bills. Don't go onto your banking. Don't go banking in Starbucks. Make sure you're on your home Wi-Fi or your home internet where the people connected to the network. If a pop-up ad appears and it does something like you want a free iPhone or meet hot girls online, it's probably a bad idea to click that. It's called phishing where it's sort of hacking the human. where it exploits things that you would want. Now, so what's the lesson here? It's really easy to defend yourself. All we need is a bit of knowledge and nothing else, a bit of knowledge. Literally, that's all we need. Don't be lazy, don't be greedy, don't think, oh, I'm fine. You are in danger and you can defend yourself so long as you know how. Thank you for listening.